Hello, good afternoon on a beautiful Sunday, July 5th. In the Hebrew date, it's the 13th of Tammuz. Today is known as Chag HaGeula, the holiday of redemption, referring to the miraculous redemption of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, in Russia in 1927, after he was imprisoned by the communist government, who was doing everything in their hands and ability to uproot Judaism totally, to close on every Jewish institution, synagogue, school, mikveh, etc., and to eradicate any vestige of Jewish observance along with all the other religions, but specifically a strong or stronger campaign against the Jewish people. And then the Jewish people in Russia numbered millions, the largest Jewish community in the world, and the previous Rebbe single-handedly stood up by creating an underground network, obviously everything out of the limelight, to be able to ensure that Judaism stays alive. Eventually they caught up with him, realizing that though they were working very hard to eradicate and uproot, it was taking stronger root in cities and towns across the wide Russia. And when they arrested him initially for death penalty, miraculously after a few weeks, but enduring tremendous torture and pain under their hands while they tried to get out from him names of people, the hundreds of people involved in his underground network, the source of funds, etc. Obviously nothing came out, and he stood up to the Russians, and they ended up redeeming him. And in the interim, during these close to a month that he was in prison, at one time they commuted the sentence from prison to exile. They sent him to a faraway place, Kastorma, where he would be in exile for 10 years. Only a few days later, the miracle came where they let him out free completely. So when he was being moved from Kastorma, from the prison to go to Kastorma, and his daughter was allowed to accompany him to be in exile, he made a speech by the train station. Speech that goes down in history as one of the most powerful communications said under a very difficult circumstance. The KGB, the Russians, were standing around him, and he spoke very openly. And these were his words, not verbatim, but the spirit of his words, that our enemies can only imprison our bodies. Other people can only control your body. They can stop you, they can handcuff your hands, they can put you in a specific place and not let you do the things that you want to do. But your soul, your spirit, no one can ever imprison. No one else has the power over your spirit and your soul. Even if you are in handcuffs and you're in solitude confinement, in a prison, at the same time you should know that your spirit can soar free. And we see throughout history how people who were in tremendous difficulties, yet their spirit soared free. And not only soared free, but they were winning their captors, because though they were able to control their body, the main part of who they were not able to control. Natan Sharansky, at the beginning of the COVID, gave a talk, a video that went viral, saying how his spirit was so free, how he was in control of the Soviets even when they tried to control him, because they could never gain control of his spirit. And this is something so important to remember, not only in imprisonment, but in life in general. We have circumstances, we have situations. COVID's creating a lot of problems for a lot of people who are confined in their homes, cannot do the regular activities with their families together. And there are a lot of challenges that it brings to the fore. But you should know one thing, that your spirit is in your hands. Your soul you control. No one, unless you put yourself in prison, no one can put you in prison. Our soul is free. And our soul is free to become whatever we want it to become. Though it will not be able to have all the movements at once, it can have all the faith and belief. And I had a great uncle, Reb Mendel Futefas, who was under Stalinist prison. And he said these words: he said when he came out of Russia in 1960s, and he said these words. He says, the fact that I kept Shabbos, or the fact that I kept kosher, this is how I was brought up. Obviously, I kept kosher. I'm not going to take any credit for. But the fact that I kept my spirit alive and positive, that's one thing I take credit for. And that is the truth. To be able to keep your spirit alive and positive, that is in your hands. Don't blame anybody. We live in a society where we blame everyone for every little thing that happens. Stop blaming. Look inside. Your spirits can soar in the most beautiful and incredible way. Let them soar. So on this day when we celebrate the redemption of the previous Rebbe, his redemption was a redemption that opened up the doors for all of us to recognize that no one has control over us. You have control over yourselves. Let your spirit soar. Let your faith soar. Let every part of your being soar to the highest heights, and you will see incredible things happen. The sky is the limit and even beyond. So all the best. Have a great day and a happy holiday.